see. Just a little bit. Okay. I think we are ready. Let's see. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sound looks like level's okay. Let's do it. Hello. Welcome to this episode of the Womanly Way podcast. This is episode 3 of season 2. And I really have to say, it's interesting how I truly believe if you want to know an answer to something, ask. It might be asking of yourself, it might be asking to the sky god, it might be asking to your guides, whatever that you believe in. Ask and you shall receive. That's what I truly believe in. So yesterday marks the start of my month-long birthday celebration. So my birthday is on the 23rd of March. And the reason that to me it started yesterday is because every year around my birthday, I would go and get healing done from the amazing Donna McCormick. And yesterday was the day. So that pretty much marked the beginning of my month-long celebration. It was also, we published episode 1 of season 2. So just I always believe in divine timing, and the timing was right. So generally when I go for healing around my birthday, it's a celebration. But yesterday I was like, okay, I'm just going to ask, what's the purpose of today's session? And as I was driving, I had a dentist appointment, and then had to go home and pick up a delivery. Anyway, as I was driving, this message or channel essentially came to me. It was like, well, actually, there's something that we need to heal. And what I had realized was, so I think having done personal development work, sometimes it is a gift, but sometimes it's also a curse, because you know how your brain work. And because we know how our brain work, it's kind of like who can trump whom, and quite often what I have realized is I actually learned to trick my brain, to trick my conscious and trick my unconscious all at the same time. So actually sabotaging my own success. What do I mean by that? It's because I know how our reality, so the outside world, is a reflection of our internal world, right? I think my subconscious, in a sense, I have this, I don't even think it's a fear. It's just more the unknown. Like, yes, I do all this work, but what if it actually blows up? Like, what if it, actually go viral? Or what if, you know, everything just all of a sudden take off? There's a part of me, it's like, what if I chew off more than I can? What if I go into burnout again? Right? Because there's a part of me in my past where burnout was a reality. And how embarrassing would it be when a coach a coach or a mentor that specializes in burnout actually then suffer from burnout herself? So there's that part, and I truly believe that there's a part of all of us that are scared of more so our light than our darkness. Right? What if we're so bright and I experience bullying again? all of those things. So what I started to do was I started to manipulate my outside world. I started to create scenarios where it almost looks like that other people, um, are the reason why something is not successful. So, to be completely open and transparent, so the Successful Women's Collective is the collective which I took over. It's a collective, a women's collective where we meet on a regular basis. There's an online platform and there's also a in-person, um, catch up that we have for the VIPs. We have to change the meeting time because there is conflict between the what we call at work the Monday rhythm. So we have a series of meeting at my current corporate job, which requires me to be there every Monday morning, and our network meets every second Monday. So I had to shuffle the meeting. Um, and there's obviously, there are people who embrace change and there are people who don't. So we had a little bit of discussion. So we settled on a time. But in my mind, I'm just like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Or, I started to think about, oh, what if people doesn't like me, or this and that. So there are many little things I started to do, which I realized it was actually me sabotaging this. And I kind of want to sabotage it in a way. So I closed the group. So it's not successful anymore. Um, and so I have to go, well, it's not my fault, you know, it's not my fault. It just didn't work. But can you imagine what if it worked? What if it actually works? What if this thing actually takes off? How amazing would it be? Right? And it's like I'm almost creating a scenario where it's not even about right or wrong, it's about easy or hard. Like I'm creating these stories, and in the end, we work through, Donna and I will work through the ultimate story that I've been creating is that there's easy and there's hard. It's almost like creating success has to be hard. It feels like pushing shit up hills. But what if there's no easy, there's no hard, and there just is? What if by me just doing the things that I do, success would ultimately show up just as a byproduct of me doing what I do, as a byproduct of me being me? Because in this scenario, there's no longer the evil or the good. There's no good or evil. There's no right or wrong. There's no more or less. There's no easy or hard. It just is. And I became essentially the messenger, the channel, the guardian of whatever that is meant to come through me in order to give humanity something different. I never think about this. And the reason that I want to share this is because I thought if I am going through this, then how many other people who wanted to create freedom, wanted to create greatness in their life are also facing the same thing? How many people out there perhaps not even realizing it, right? Because I didn't realize it until I had that aha moment that, oh, I'm actually doing the sabotaging. I was sabotaging my own relationship by pushing the good things away. And often when we do that, it's a worthiness and deserving piece, but it's also a value piece. How much do we really value ourselves? How much do we really see our value? How much do we really think we're worthy and deserving of these things? And often it's like, well, can I really have it all? I think so often it's us taking on other people's stories, right? Can we really have it all? Maybe I don't deserve to have it all. How dare I to have it all when other people are suffering? There's that part of it too. So I think there are many, many different versions of this, and I truly believe that's why when we want to work on, whether it's working on your version of success, whether it's trying to work this out, yeah, whether it's working on your version of success, or it's working on creating more freedom, whatever that it is for you, the most fundamental thing to me is to work on the beliefs and the blocks. What is the thing that's actually blocking you? What are you actually self sabotaging? You're like, I don't self sabotage. Well, I'm going to really put this forward to you as a different way of thinking, right? If you didn't self sabotage, you would be there by now. You wouldn't be sitting here going like, how can I achieve this thing? Because if you believe in it, you would have achieved it already. And you guys know me, I am a big believer of, I kind of describe it as keeping my own backyard clean mentality. In order to achieve something, we need to make sure that our backyard is clean. And when I say our backyard is clean, it doesn't mean that we have no negative beliefs or negative thoughts. It's more, are we at peace with those shadowy sides of ourselves? And can we accept that it's a part of us and be aware of those things? But at the same time, work through whatever blockages that we have that is preventing us from achieving our highest potential. And I truly believe our part of our real purpose in life, in this lifetime on planet Earth, is to work through those things, to work through those challenges and learn from those challenges. So it is okay to self sabotage because it all do, but it's recognizing and accepting that behind the self sabotage is room for improvement. If we can work out what the self sabotage is, then we can work out how we can solve the problem and be better. Right. So for me, it was such an aha moment because I didn't realize I was self sabotaging until yesterday. And up until that point, I was like, oh, I really, really, really want to make this business work, especially with all the rebrand for the way back home and with all the exciting things that I'm about to launch for this birthday. I'm just like, I want to do something about this. I want to, I actually want to make this business work instead of just a hobby. I actually want to make it work as a business. And I'm just going to be, again, complete transparency. I'm actually looking to double my income just so it will allow me to do a whole lot of other things like moving to the country, um, buy a property, and really for me, starting a school so I can homeschool George and his friends, right? So I've got big dreams and I would love to be able to achieve them sooner rather than later. And so the question I continue to ask myself is, what's the block? What's the block? What's stopping me? And yesterday the answer came, right? yesterday the answer came. I was just like, yay, now I can work through this. And I think part of the thing is also sometimes what we are wanting and the way that we want to get there may seem like the impossible, you know. And for me, it's a classic example. Like in my younger days, I masculined my way through my career. I masculined my way through my career. I pushed through. That's why I had, allergic reactions. That's why I had rashes on my face. That's why I had health issues. I had, all sorts. Yes, I created a success, but I was also highly burnt out. Um, and now for me, it's like, yes, I want to create the success, but I don't want to do it in that way anymore. And to many, many people out there, they were like, that's not possible, you know. Like so many times, I still remember there's this client of mine. I think I might have talked about it in a couple podcasts ago. Like this client of mine that literally told me, he's like, once you become a mom, your career will be over. Once you become a mom, your career will be over. I didn't really take it seriously then, but then now becoming a mom, I could see how someone would say it. I can see how that could be a perception. I had people that was telling me they don't believe a working mom can be in a senior position because they didn't think, you know, I have the time or effort or energy or whatever it is. But for me, number one, don't ever tell me if I can't do something because I will prove to you that I can. And number two, I have enough evidence around me with the woman that I surround myself with to know that I don't have to create success by masculining my way in life. I could create success through the feminine way, through the womanly way. The universe didn't give me this brand, this system, this podcast by accident, right? And I truly believe it is my way to, it is my, it's almost like my purpose to live this life and to experience it and to experiment with it so that I can share that experience with a wider population and actually be that living proof that yes, living in the feminine way, in the womanly way, is still a very viable way to create success and freedom in your life. In fact, it's probably a more effortless way, or maybe a more effective way, especially for the feminine to create success in our lives. You might be wondering by now, right? Like, what question do you really ask to find out that you're sabotaging? I think the telltale sign is if you keep doing something, you try different ways and it's just not working. Because if you keep trying different things and it just didn't work, there's a common denominator. Hello? Yeah. There's always a common denominator. And for me, if in doubt, the common denominator is always me. It's always the self, right? And then it's about asking the question, like asking the good questions, the asking smart questions, not just, oh, why doesn't it work? Right? It's probably more, what do I need to work on in order to make this to work? what am I missing? What is the missing piece? What is going to make this better? What is the one thing? What is if there's only one thing, or if there's a key component to this, if it's a missing piece of the puzzle, what is it? And really practicing asking good quality questions with yourself, journal on it. Um, I talk to myself a lot, and quite often those moments are from my conversations with myself. So there's something about human psychology. Our voice is the most powerful thing. So whenever you want to reprogram your thinking, your belief, um, anything you want to reprogram, the best way is to find a motivational piece of music and then record whatever you want yourself to believe, whatever your new belief is, as an affirmation, using your own voice, and continually listen to that again and again, again and again and again. Because our subconscious, when we hear our own voice, it's like a much more powerful command compared to if you listen to someone else's voice. So I love speaking out loud with myself, and it's almost like we're having a private, two-way meeting, and you'll hear me. I will literally have a conversation. I might be hearing the answers in my head, and then I'll voice out loud my question. And in a way, even if we don't want to look at a spiritual perspective, right? It's more about being the sounding board for yourself, because you're not just thinking in your head, but you're actually saying it out loud and listening back to it. And in a way, that's, at least for me, that's how my brain process information. And that allows me to kind of experience it with all of my senses. And that allows my brain to process the information quicker. Um, you can always start with yes and no. Am I sabotaging myself? And whatever the first answer is, within a second or so, that is the right answer. Anything coming after that, your ego has already interfered with it. And then if you are sabotaging, then go, well, in what way am I sabotaging? How am I sabotaging the situation? Why am I sabotaging the situation? You know, is there something that I need to heal? What am I meant to learn from the sabotaging behavior? Is there a common denominator? And you may not get the right answer the first time around, or you may not even get any answer the first time around, but it's about continually asking yourself those questions. I was actually listening to a podcast yesterday. This person who's an expert in dreams, and he said you can actually cultivate and create the environment to allow your dream to answer your questions by asking good quality questions just before you go to bed. I'm like, wow, that is pretty amazing. And so I'm actually going to try this out. Um, but yeah, I truly believe that, as you guys would know, I truly believe in continuous learning and growing, especially in the psychology piece. So working on self-sabotaging behaviors is a great way to continuously improve our mindset, our psychology, our shadow work, whatever you want to call it. And I truly highly encourage, if you're like me, perhaps you're but time poor and you're like, oh, I'm not a journaling person, then talk to yourself, ask yourself those questions, maybe try this dream cultivation process as well. So it's just like many of my podcasts, it does sound like a rant, but really it's just a stream of consciousness. It's a stream of thoughts that came to me, and I really want to share this while it's fresh in my mind, and this experience is fresh in my mind. And I think if we can all be honest with ourselves and just go, yes, first time I self sabotage, it's a bit like AA. We all do. We all self-sabotage. In fact, self-sabotage is not only a protection mechanism, but just like success addiction, it is an addiction. It is an addiction because you're addicted to manipulating behaviors in order to make you feel safe. Yeah. Just like you're addicted to success in order to make you feel safe. Pretty mind blowing, isn't it? But it's also pretty confronting. But that's life. Do you rather have other people change your life for you? Or do you rather be the driver of your own life and go, okay, let's look at what we need to change here. Let's implement those changes and let's create something better that is the way that I want it, rather than being pushed around, pulled around with all the things in your life and allowing other people to control and tell you how your life should be. I know which one I want. Question is, do you? Definitely worth pondering, doesn't it? So on that note, I will leave you pondering, thinking, have conversations with yourself, journal if you can, record positive affirmations if you so desire, and experience life like it's the greatest experiment. There's nothing to lose but everything to gain. Just give it a go. 7 days and see how your life transformed. If it doesn't, do something else. It's as easy as that. On that note, I really want to say goodnight to all of you guys because, quite frankly, I'm ready to hit bed. Um, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. And I will talk to you next time. Have a lovely day, afternoon, night, evening, wherever you are in the world. And just know this: you are a bright, shiny light in whichever way that you were designed to be. And your job is to find that light and shine it as brightly as you can, because that is your birthright. Love you all so, so, so much. And I will see you next time. Bye.